What's one underrated skills every aspiring developer should master in 2025?
The most underrated skill in this era is we're entering the era of vibe coding,
Yes.
where you're basically writing no code anymore. But when you get stuck,
You stop.
what happens, right? So for sure, there's going to be a lot of shift in the market. I think many jobs will become obsolete. In my opinion, the best developers I've seen, they don't really need too much guidance or kind of like hand-holding.
True.
If you give them the task, they're going to find a way to do it.
How should you prepare yourself on the interview stages?
Yeah, so I think treat it like a game, almost like different rounds,
Level of
different levels, right? Different chapters.
yeah.
And I think the more you do, the better you get at them. One thing that I will say is usually at the end of the interview, they always say, do you have any questions for us? Any questions for the company?
Yeah.
I think if you don't ask questions, that's going to hurt you. You want to see like, hey, based on what you're trying to achieve, how can I help you get there? Like, how do my skills align with the company
True.
to help you further progress?
I have a framework that I created. I come down to this EOC framework. Hey guys, welcome to the another episode of The Diary of a Developer. Today we have a special guest. He's the first one in the podcast who is actually AI engineer. And my goal here today is to literally take every information out from him, see how he actually made his career as an AI engineer in Australia so that you guys can follow that path and make sure you avoid all the mistakes he has done it and leverage the tricks he have used it, so that you build your career in AI and software development faster. So with that saying, Peter, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Prem, and thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming again. And Peter, can you explain me a little bit yourself so everybody know who you are and where you work and what you do as part of the day-to-day life?
I work full-time as an AI engineer and AI consultant. And a lot of the work that we do is we solve business problems for companies and for enterprises. I guess one thing to really mention is a lot of the foundational work that I had covered in university, in both bachelor's and master's, has set me up very well to actually be able to do this. I guess day to day, a lot of the work that I'm doing is with the cloud platforms. I'm actually Microsoft Azure certified with AI engineer certificate. So being able to leverage all the pre-built technologies they have on there, for example, like RAG chatbots or document intelligence, this is something that a lot of companies kind of want to actually implement in their workflow.
True.
And what I'm noticing now too is we have a lot of legacy systems and people don't know how to leverage AI and use it in their business model. So that's kind of where I come in to sit down with them, see their pain points, and then implement something.
That's really cool. And before we start recording, we had a chat about the things that you do as part of the work and the project you're working on it. And I'm really excited to learn more from you as well as share. And I hope that's going to provide really like a to the point value for our listeners. So now you are AI engineer, right?
Great.
Are you happy with your career?
I am.
Okay, that's the important things. And is it scary?
Scary.
Yeah.
I think it's very fast paced. So like every day, when you log in, something has come out, some new model,
Yeah.
some new framework. So it can be quite daunting, but I think the main thing is just to be passionate about it and always be curious, always be trying new things and upskilling. When you finish the university, maybe when you start working your first job, the learning doesn't stop.
That's true.
Every single day and week, you have to have that kind of mindset, that growth mindset that we spoke about before. You just have to always be interested in what you're doing. And personally for me, I really do enjoy it.
Okay, great. Love that. When you say your learning happens, I believe that too. I think for me, your learning actually happen when you get into the industry. Until then, you're just figuring out, isn't it?
Exactly
But
right.
when you get into the industry, there is a rule to follow. There is a protocol to apply. There is a tech stack predefined to solve a specific problem that we have never seen. Because until you work in the industry, you don't know the problem. And that's where the learning begins. And it's really fun. Okay, so I want to get raw information from you. You can share me all your bad time, good time, anything that you're okay to share. And tell our audience like how you went from high schooler going to overseas for study, coming back, starting as a software engineer, and then going back to AI learning, and then becoming AI engineer. Walk me through, just go to, use the button to go to, like, you are in the time machine, press the button, go back, and then walk me through each, not day, because it's not possible, highlights of it, and then primarily the mistake you have done it, you shouldn't have done it, and the things that really helped you. So that will gonna be, I think, a lot valuable for anybody who wants to build a career intake. And anything that you have learned along the way, we can discuss further. So, when did you like think that you want to build your career in tech?
Okay, great question. So it actually starts from when I was a very little boy, and
Okay.
I was always an avid gamer. So I love playing video games.
Right.
I'm sure many nights my parents, heard me online with the headset, talking to my online friends, and past midnight into early hours of the morning. So I loved gaming. Um, and some notable games that I played was some like Call of Duty,
Yeah.
FIFA. A lot of the online competitive games for me was very interesting because I wanted to kind of test my ability against other guys and girls and see how good I
Of course,
was.
because you want to compete. That's all game about, isn't it?
Exactly right. So that's kind of where it started as far as technology was concerned. But, there was no financial incentive. It was purely just out of my passion and interest. From that, my dad said to me, can you at least do something productive, maybe make some money,
Every
contribute to the world rather than just, sitting on the game all day and kind of like, spinning your wheels. So, in high school, I grew up in Australia. I actually went to school quite close here at Sydney Grammar School, and they didn't offer any coding subjects. So all the way up until about 18 years of age, a lot of my, I guess, subjects were like, advanced maths, physics, chemistry, economics. So I had a good foundation.
It's like a generalized of each department of science and technology.
Right. So they set you up very well, but I hadn't actually done any formal coding. I didn't know any coding languages, hadn't built any projects, didn't know what GitHub was. So I finished high school and then I go off to the US to start my computer science degree over in California. And we're in the first class. And to be honest with you, he's have some slides on about Java.
Okay.
And I didn't know what I was looking at. Everyone else there had already maybe done 3 to 4 years of like some kind of coding.
Oh, wow.
Whether it was like basic webs, web stack like HTML, CSS, that type of thing, or they had, done some in high school. So for me, I felt like, wow, this is quite a big leap. I didn't know what was happening. So I actually had second thoughts initially. I told my family and friends, I'm like, this coding stuff seems very different to what I'm used to. And I found the kind of the jump and the learning gap quite steep because they worked at a very fast pace.
Right.
I think the first project they wanted us to build was banking application in the command line. And mind you, just for the viewers, this was before the ChatGPT era.
2018 around, was it?
Yeah, roughly around 2017 actually.
17, yeah.
So this was before you had any AI tools.
True.
I was basically writing code in a Notepad++. So you have to actually understand everything
True.
fully. You can't just prompt it and it does it for you, right?
Yeah.
So that's what happened the first semester. And to be honest with you, I found it quite challenging.
Correct.
And I wasn't sure if I was going to continue with it
Really?
after that. So, the first semester passes and then we have a bit of a break. I didn't do any coding over that short time.
Yeah.
I kind of got burnt out. And then I'm like, you know what, let's give it a full go. Let's actually commit to it and try it as hard as possible. And honestly, from there, it's kind of just snowballed into something that I really do enjoy and love. And it just started from just building projects. Problems I had in my own life, I would find a way to basically make a solution. And I would learn the tech stacks required as they would come. So like very simple things. Maybe I was watching YouTube videos. I didn't have time to watch the whole thing. So I'm like, how can I make some app to summarize the video for me?
Right.
And kind of on my way I went, learning, stumbling. And from there, it just kind of, grew into what it is today.
That's great. Two things I want to quite quick highlight here. So you say you started coding in Notepad++. Guys, if you just started coding, probably you don't even know what that means. So that's like you can think of basically word editor, have a little bit of coloring on the syntax and helpful for the syntax. and there was no intelligence auto-completion.
No auto completion.
No auto-completion. And you know how actually I started coding?
Huh.
Pen and paper.
There you go.
Back in 2003, 2004, at that time.
Wow.
I didn't have computer, couldn't afford it.
What was your first programming language?
C++.
The plus.
Yeah. Wrote it like few pages of coding.
Yep.
And then had to go to the lab, the college lab, type it out, everything, run it. And that still works.
Yeah.
And I
all
still...
syntax as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now, like every learner, you probably have seen they wanted to use autocompletion a lot, or even like AI gen tools to write the code. What do you say about that, who is just learning now to code?
Yeah, it's a good question. We're in a different era now.
Mm.
Okay, so before everything was very much manual. I think my first book ever was Python, Automate the Boring Things,
Okay.
with one of my good friends. And we kind of just went through that page by page, learning, what dictionaries are, what lists were, tuples, that kind of thing.
Mm.
If I was starting again
Yeah.
in 2025, I would definitely leverage the tools that we have available today, but up until a point. So, we have a lot of the IDEs available now.
True.
VS Code. We see a popular one now is Cursor, or you have all the, AI agents
Agents to do that.
that can kind of, crawl through your code and database. We have access to many tools like MCP,
True.
web search. So there's a lot of things that we have available to us now, but I think the fundamentals will always stay true, like we spoke about before.
Yes.
So you need to understand, the basics
True.
before you just jump into all these AI.
That's true. My principle for all my students that we do here is that when you learn foundation level, like how to write syntax, understanding the syntax, learning about data structure, how to create the algorithm to do that, we really do not recommend them to use any AI, because what happens is that if they start using AI, they are more like relying on to even write foundation level for something to do that for them. So I prefer them to do the foundation fundamental themselves first, and then at least create one basic project. And once you done that, then now we'll use AI to do exact same thing. So you would see the difference between you writing the code versus how the AI would do the same thing. So in the future, now you can use AI to like leverage all your project. Right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. And there is a research shows that more you physically involve on something, you tend to memorize that more.
True.
So yeah, and I still do this. I ate, and the guy sounds like a bit old here, but came from the era where writing code from pen and paper, and now I use AI and definitely to write the code as well. And I still sometimes when I stuck in specific problem, I have like this butcher, the butcher paper roll.
Yeah.
I open that up and then I write code or at least flow with the pen and paper, and that helps me to unlock the problem faster. Maybe I'm still old school, but I don't know. So that has helped me, but definitely I think now anybody can definitely go with the both route and see which works for them.
Sure.
I think, yeah. And the other thing you said is that you started building project, right, to learn. That's a really great way to, I think, master programming language or software building skill, because first thing first, we are engineer. Engineer are there to solve the problems.
True.
That means we should solve our problem first, isn't it?
100%.
Right?
That's where it all stems from.
Exactly. And then while you're solving your problem, better use something that you want to learn to solve that problem, like you summarizing the video, right?
Exactly right.
So that's the, I think, best way to learn, isn't it?
I think project-based learning, in my opinion, is the only way to learn.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that.
Because you can watch every tutorial, you can watch several videos,
True.
You can read documentation, but unless you get in there and kind of get your hands dirty,
Yeah, that's the dimension.
and you get stuck and then you find a way to get unstuck.
Yeah,
That's really where the learning takes place. And like you were saying with the pen and paper, it solidifies that in your brain. And going forward, when you face, obviously as you become more senior, you start working on much larger code bases, a lot more complex.
true.
If there are errors, if there are bugs, you can't really
Figure it out.
be scared of that. You just have to go in and you have to say, okay, we're gonna kind of work through this systematically step by step.
True.
And I think the early years of just building, very basic projects,
Yeah.
maybe it might be one, Python file.
Yeah, true. Just creating file or maintaining the file. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. I think like one of my first errors that I could never work out was, an import error. Is importing the wrong library. And this was before you had the really nice, helpful, error messages
Yeah.
that are present. So I had to look up on Google, what's this? And there was, maybe one line that was wrong or one word. And then from there, you just don't really worry about it. You have that problem solving ability.
Skills, yeah. When like as I said before, I went to live in TikTok yesterday, and there was a guy asking, "What's the different work is done by junior software developer and senior software developer?" I wanted to simplify this so much so that they say, "Okay, that makes sense." In my opinion, this is what I said. You tell me what you think. So just to help that guy understand, I said, "You're basically gonna work on same project. If senior developer is part of the development, he will be doing coding. You'll be doing coding. He's gonna do the same feature like you'll be doing. But the expectation, junior developer versus senior will be different. Probably you have to close more complex ticket or more ticket closing rate. Or when junior have a problem, senior is there to help.
True.
Then one aspect. Another aspect is that you will have more time to complete the specific task compared to the senior developer. And another way to explain them is that the difference between you and senior is that how fast can you solve your bug?
I mean, that's 100% correct. You're both doing coding. You're both serving problems.
True.
Just the expectation level
Is
is obviously going to vary.
true.
And then obviously there's be more leniency towards the
The
junior,
junior one, yeah.
developer. But end of the day, you're both doing the same thing.
Exactly.
Maybe just like at a different rate.
That's why I said make friends with bugs.
Hey, errors are your friends.
Exactly. More early you adapt that mindset, I think it's gonna be more easier to
Yeah.
grow, isn't it?
I think my first professor told me, he's like, when you see the red in your IDE, just make it less red.
Yeah, that's very, very like best advice, I would say.
Yeah.
Makes less red the less problem. Okay, now once you get into the universities, now let's pick up from our previous conversation. So you went to do the computer science there, and you had a problem learning to code. You start coming up with the idea how to create the app, and then you started building the app to solve your own problem. When you have that burnout, probably you had one too, and when you're stuck in the problem, because a lot of new aspiring developer, they are stuck in the bug, they are stuck into the burnout issue.
Yep.
So how did you overcome that? What can you advise here?
Great question. So I think what separates myself from a lot of other developers is probably like my very unique journey. So I actually identified why I didn't enjoy coding initially, and it was
Mhm.
because I was making these applications for the university course that I didn't really like a banking application with like a deposit and withdrawal. Like I had no interest in that, right? Like it didn't really excite me. So I went back to my gaming roots, and there's one famous game that I can mention. Yeah, it's called RuneScape. So it's basically like an MMO.
Okay.
So you basically make a character, you train him up over time, and then you can battle other players.
Right.
So I got very good at this game, and I used to go against other people, and basically there's a winner and there's a loser.
Mm.
So what I did is I'm like, you know what? Why don't I make something that can beat me?
So you want to create your clone to challenge yourself.
Basically make an advanced AI player versus
That's
player bot.
good, really.
And
When did you come up with that idea?
so this would be around 2018 to 2019.
Oh,
So
that's a very early stage to adapt AI, especially was not much in the market unless you are literally doing AI study in university, isn't it?
yeah, so I would say a lot of my, I guess, like knowledge came outside of university. I think it's great for teaching you the fundamentals,
True.
but a lot of my own interests actually came outside of that. So it would be like after hours, like late at night or on the weekends, I would just be at my computer, kind of chipping away, reading, learning, and then implementing. So I guess the AI stuff that I did then was quite different. So that's where I learned neural networks, LSTMs, Markov chains. So a lot of these things I kind of learned as I went, and I started implementing them into the bot that I was creating.
You tell me more about the bot. I want to know.
Yeah, so one thing that happens is whenever you're kind of having this kind of environment, it's based on prediction. So for example, let's say we're doing like a battle, maybe tennis, okay, for example. What you did the last shot may actually dictate what you're going to do next. So we need to have some way to track sequence of
The
events.
predictability.
Correct. So I first start with just a rule-based expert system. So I basically had a bunch of if-else statements
Okay.
based on the game variables, and the bot would react based on that.
Right.
But there was a limitation, okay? So I had to think outside the box. How can I start storing variables and have it act on that? And that's where...
Like more dynamic.
Correct.
Mm.
So I went away from the rule-based bot and actually started exploring reinforcement learning.
Cool.
And
At that time, getting into that level of mindset learning AI is really great.
And there was a great course, I believe, on Udemy for reinforcement learning in games, specifically the Atari games.
All right.
So if you've come across like Pac-Man and Street Fighter, they had someone there show you how to train an agent in that system, and you would give it basically like positive or negative rewards over time.
Right.
And it would become very, very proficient
Right.
in the video game. So I did that course in full in my own time, and then I applied it to the video game, the Runescape game. And to be honest with you, I ended up making something I didn't think was possible, because when I started playing against it myself, I couldn't do anything.
Really?
It was very, very advanced.
Okay.
Very, very advanced. And this was before, large language models. This was like
Good.
pure,
Yeah.
pure RL, with some other stuff under the hood. And from there, that was kind of like my opening insight as to like, hey, I'm actually onto something here.
True. Very true.
And I think that's what really kickstarted the journey for me, is working on a long-term project that I was interested in.
Nice. Okay. Okay. Tell me about this is gonna be helpful for somebody who really want to build a career, maybe stuck in the universities now with that project, as you said. Even if you go nowadays in the universities, you're gonna get pretty much same curriculum.
Sure.
It's so outdated. Yeah. Now you definitely put a lot of effort in it. Tell me, how many hours did you put extra weekly basis outside the university?
So I would say pretty much my whole life was centered around coding and development. So I set it up in a way where I would kind of forgo social events. I wasn't on any social media. And for me, I just loved coding.
So that's paid you off now, isn't it?
I would say that definitely fast-tracked me to where I am now, because, all those weekends that you spend maybe 8 to 10 hours in your room, just sitting there while other people are out and about, I think that definitely pushed me forward. But at the same time, people talk about balance, having friends.
Yeah.
I think that's also very important as well, because, there's a thing called burnout. And I think if you do too much too soon, could actually deter you away, from the career path itself. So I think, working on things that are interesting and meaningful to you. But for myself, I would say I was doing easily 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
So it was like very much dominated. Obviously, I had time to do other things like some exercise and,
True.
go out and occasionally. But the primary focus was just to get really good at AI development.
Okay, what extra activity helped you kill the burnout and keep going that 80 hours a week?
True. Yeah.
And make you become who you are today?
Yeah, for sure. So I think definitely from the competitive nature when I was younger, playing the video games, I think you need some kind of physical pursuit.
Yeah.
Some kind of outlet. So I know we spoke about before, you have a martial arts background.
Yeah.
And, you're able to go to an extremely high level for that. For me, something similar. I'm a big fan of the weights.
Yeah, I can,
Lifting,
buddy.
and I kind of did like a bit of a transformation in the past several years just to prove that it can be done. But I think finding some kind of sport that you enjoy. So for me, it's the gym.
Gym, yeah.
For you, it could be, competing in martial arts like, taekwondo or karate.
Karate.
I know now you're starting to get more into the
Gym now,
the training.
Yeah.
Or, even, just playing, soccer on the weekend with your friends, or playing, badminton. I think that's really important.
We need to sweat.
100%. You need to sweat. And, sitting all day, obviously we have standing desks now. I'm not sure how much we use them.
Yeah, true.
But, especially with development time, like sitting all day, being sedentary, I think long term for the health, it's not good. So doing some kind of physical activity, I think is really important, for the burnout. And you can meet really cool people and friends.
Yeah, I think I want to just back up one more thing in there is how important to meet or reach out other people was. This happened in around 2014-15 after me coding for over 10 years, right? I was adapting Node around that time. So I went from C++ to Java to .NET to PHP, then Node. So that's the journey. So when I started Node, there was one, again, import and export issue. At that time, the era generation wasn't that good. So one just S cost me 2.5 week restless night, pulling my hair, and I'm a bit shy to ask people because that ego. Hey, I'm kind of been coding for a while, and if I ask somebody and some junior people saying, "Hey, it's so easy, don't you even know that?" That kind of thing. Bit of hesitation that's cost me pretty bad time that time. So it's important, as you said, like really, if I had just reached out few developer in the community, say, "Hey, not sure what's going on, guys. Can you just give me quick look into it?" That could have been solved in 30 seconds.
I think the quote that sums it up perfectly is, if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
That's 100% true. And squeaky wheel gets the grease. So it will become louder. You will get more attention, more health.
Yep.
Yeah, probably opportunities as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's important too because, when you're solving problems, you can definitely solve them faster with other people.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like having that ego where, okay, maybe I have 5 years experience.
True.
I'm already really, I'm like the best at something. And then you don't want to ask for help when you do get stuck. I think that's like a limiting mindset.
That's very true.
And I think collaboration is really important because you can learn
more faster, like 1 + 1 = 3 brain. That's what they say, right?
Yeah, 100%. And something common that probably helped me a lot was there's actually a platform called Discord, which is kind of like a community for gamers.
Yeah, there are a lot of coding community as well. Even I started in 2020, Discord is still there. I'm not active yet, but
Yeah.
There are many developer, any kind of community you can find in Discord.
So like a lot of my holidays were actually spent in Discord channels on screen share with other developers. And we would sit in there from the morning to the night. We'd have a bit of a lunch break.
Yeah,
We'd come back.
Yeah.
And we have our IDEs open, and we'd, be talking about obviously life stuff as well. But we'd be coding all day.
That's true.
And I think just being around like-minded people that also have the same interests as you really, really helps.
So without that bot versus with that bot, how fast, how well you became on your learning journey?
Yeah, that for me set the foundation for everything. Eventually what happened is the bot became so prevalent in the game. I actually got an offer to do an interview with quite a well-known YouTuber.
Wow.
And he kind of does journalism for gaming. And at the time, he wanted to kind of ask me how I went about building the bot to showcase to his audience.
Yep.
I think it now has several million views on there. Obviously, I didn't release any of the code because for me, it was not really like something I wanted to...
Like not proud to share the code base, but
like, I wouldn't say that it was like against the terms.
okay.
Like so to speak. But for me, it was like more of a passion project. I wanted to see what was possible, with the current tech and coding.
True.
And for me, when I kind of achieved it, I wanted to showcase it out. So like to this day, like none of the code's public. It's all still on a local, USB. So like that would never be, put out to the masses. But, like I think for me, that was like just like the turning point. But yeah, so back to your question.
How much did that help you to become better at it?
Yeah, I learned so many
Things.
things through that project.
The reason I want to point it out is that while we're going through the tutorial, we're gonna go kind of in a loop, and then we're gonna repeat the same thing, right? And we're gonna learn one topics, and then we're gonna get stuck in one micro topics there, and you're gonna go to the another tutorial to just learn that micro topics,
Right.
and then you're gonna fall back to that loop. But when you actually do build the project, you have like clear vision. What do you want to kind of make out of this project? And then you're only attacking the problem, right? And you're only researching something and you're fixing one problem at a time to become better. Now you just become a product developer, not just a coder.
Correct.
And this is really important in the market job, isn't it?
Yeah, so I can talk a bit more about that. So like starting off, it's very basic. Everything was in Java. I had access to a bunch of classes and methods with a static API. And once I kind of hit the limit, I was like, okay, what can I do next? What can we build upon the current code base?
True.
So that's when I looked into reinforcement learning, recurrent neural networks. It's actually a very interesting thing that I learned on this project, which I'm not sure many people have come across. It's called maskable PPO. So essentially what it is you have a discrete action space that your character can take.
Okay.
And what this does is that it blocks invalid inputs. So you can actually train the agent faster to learn.
Right.
It's a game environment.
Okay.
But it's a very small niche Python library
Okay.
by stable baselines. And I would never have come across it if I hadn't, undertaken this project. So just like small things like that, you just don't know where you end up. And I think it just becomes, problem solving. You reach one point. What can I do next? How can I make it better? You were saying before, if you build an app with your students, build it again, but maybe change something.
True.
Like a different tech stack or add something.
Or
Yeah,
apply the stack in the different concept.
exactly right.
Yeah. So yeah, we just spend time more on that project because I really want to enforce this information to everybody brain that learning tutorial is great, but don't stuck in their code, start building project, then you'll actually learn what to learn or you'll find out what to learn and which will be more valuable and like you got opportunity to showcase their interviews. So that project could be your gateway to your dream job, isn't it?
And to be honest, I put that project on my resume, and that actually got me my first job.
There you go. That's something I wanted to discuss about. There's a lot of students, what they have in mind is that once I do the university, I get certification. That certification should get me a job.
No,
Yeah.
I wish.
Every single developer said that, and I really wanted to take this message out because I've been screaming this thing from very long time and people are not hearing. I think maybe I said so much. So I want to get real developers to saying that out. Now, from your first day of coding until you get the job, how long did it actually take? Because I want to give people real expectation versus reality. Because some people say, hey, I want to get a job in next 3 months.
Got you.
Yeah, you probably have meet people saying that too.
Yeah. Yep.
Going from 0 to 3 months. If we say no, they not want to hear that and they will turn the face off, right?
Got you.
But tell me your experience. How long did it take?
Yeah. So, I mean, I didn't start working till quite later, like till maybe after I had finished university. But I think something valuable for the viewers would be to look for internships.
Yeah.
Because doing the practical and theoretical university, material is not the same as working on real life projects in a team. I think one thing people don't realize is when you have your own GitHub repository and you're committing to it yourself, it's a bit different when you have 10 other developers that have different branches pushing code and wanting to merge to dev and main branch. So
dealing with the merge conflict.
Yeah, all the conflicts and, you kind of learn as you go. So I think internships are really valuable because you actually get to test your ability and obviously learn from more senior, developers. So that's one thing that I would say. But as far as like career progression, I kind of did my own thing in the gaming space. So I had my own kind of startup company, so to speak. So
Okay.
I would sell services and kind of write scripts for people, in like a custom way. So I did that for several years and
Then only you went to the industry.
yeah, like to be honest, like that kind of like funded everything because, I wasn't working. I was just basically studying.
That's a great way to build some cash flow and while you have more freedom,
Yeah, for sure.
right? And then you can keep learning to become better. So just to give a rough time estimation, if you were to just go and look for the job,
Yeah.
how much do you think it would have taken you to get the role?
I would say probably towards the end of my undergraduate degree. I think like towards that 4th year.
Yeah.
By
Like
then,
around 2 years.
Yeah,
of coding already?
yeah, I would say around like 2 years of like proper coding.
Yeah.
But then again, this is back then.
Yeah, true.
So this was before there was
Any AI?
any Claude or ChatGPT or
Mm.
Gemini. I think now you can probably do a lot faster.
Yeah,
Like we were speaking about earlier, how I do some technical interviews for my current company,
true.
and we had master's students.
Yeah.
With
I want to come back to that, and then we can actually come up with the interview hiring process so that we can give that reality,
Sure.
and then they can learn more about that. Yeah. So we'll definitely come back on that. Now, just I want to still get more about your process when you go and apply for a job. So, how did you get recruiters' attention?
So I think for me, it was having standout projects on the resume and CV that no one else had.
That's definitely
Because end of the day, if you go on LinkedIn now and you look at the jobs that are coming up, they have quick apply, 400 plus applicants,
definitely in
Yeah,
1 to 2 hours.
1 to 2 hours, right?
Yeah,
It's like basically a numbers game, right?
true.
How are you gonna separate yourself from the rest of the pack? And end of the day, I know we're all humans and friendly and happy, but it is a competition,
Definitely, definitely.
first and foremost. So you need to have projects that I
Mm.
think set yourself, kind of as like different from the rest.
Mm.
And I think for me, that's basically what happened as far as the recruiting process is. I had this project that no one else had. And when recruiters spoke to me and I did interviews, that was always the main thing that they wanted to kind of chat to me about, understand why. But also posting like my projects as well online. So I did have a YouTube channel
Okay.
and I kind of did some
Skill-
coding.
Yeah.
Yeah, some coding stuff for
So
the
that's basically you build your authority around that.
Yeah, like I think personal branding's huge now.
True.
Getting your name out there, because if you can attach, for example, you have this podcast here with your name Prem and your whole personality and that kind of thing, people resonate with that and they're kind of interested in your journey and like what you're up to.
Yeah.
And it's much easier to get your foot through the door
That's very true.
if you already have that visibility.
Yeah, true. Especially like now, as you said before, if you go in LinkedIn, check for the new job role already for 500 job application already applied. And in order to get the job, you need to get that very first screening phone call, right?
Correct.
No matter how good you are, like a best of best, if they're not gonna find you, then you're not gonna get the interview
Yeah, and then
and nothing else.
and then more to that point as well is also the networking aspect.
True.
So if you know someone maybe in the existing company you want to work at, or you have a referral, or you message the hiring manager directly,
Yeah.
then you can perhaps skip the line,
Yeah, that's true.
kind of.
But you need to know how to do it in right way. I see a lot of juniors messing up that process.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, what are some of the common mistakes you see?
They just connect to the hiring manager or CTOs of the company and straight away, hey, I'm looking for a job. Here's the resume. Do you have anything opening? There is no rapport build.
So it's more like I want rather.
Give me. There is no, I am not providing any value.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, maybe a better approach would, maybe offer to work for the company.
Yeah. So let them notice you. Go interact with their company page. Go interact with their post, like, comment, share, provide some value,
Correct.
right? And then make them, okay, I know this guy first.
Yeah.
And then sneak into the masses saying, I really love, but understand what they do. Basically, this kind of framework we teach students first, acknowledge, compliment, ask
Gotcha.
about the person. So that way you build the rapport with that person and then ask when the time is right,
Yeah.
So that definitely helped them to get the job. So for you, how did you get that job? Did you apply through the platform or through the reference?
Yeah, so good question. So you can attach your CV, to your LinkedIn account, Seek, Indeed, and then recruiters can reach out to you as well,
True.
based on how well your skill set aligns with maybe something that they're looking for, the job description.
That's true.
So for me, I actually did apply to like several places for my first role. And, I did a few interviews and then I kind of weighed and assessed the offers from there based on what I was interested in and what I wanted to work at.
True.
So for me, it was definitely more of a streamlined approach. Now I'm into the job market. I'm actively looking. Let's polish up the resume, make sure everything on there is up to date. It kind of puts my best foot forward and then start applying for jobs. And I think the main thing is people is like not to get discouraged, because if you apply to, let's say, 3 places and you don't get any of those 3, you don't just give up and quit. You know, I've heard stories of people applying to maybe 500 places.
Actually, yesterday in the live, there was one guy, no, not live, in the LinkedIn, because I was reaching out for the podcast, and he said, do you have any interesting story that you want to share in the podcast? They say, no, I don't have any interesting story. And I said, how did you get the job? He said, probably I applied 500 jobs before that. That is the interesting story. I want to know how you keep up that passion.
Yeah, I think maybe just having a quota you want to hit each week, maybe 20 places or something like that. But yeah, no, it is difficult, and I think it's probably more complex for international students as well versus domestic.
Yes, that's
You
true.
obviously have visa and
And so many things.
you know, PR things as well. But
you're like, again, like
Yeah.
we talked about Alex before.
right, yeah, I think like the thing as well is like if you keep applying and maybe you're not getting any callbacks or any first round interviews, maybe change your approach.
True.
Like actually iterate upon what you're doing, because if you're doing the same thing but you're not getting the results,
Insanity, yeah, like a definition of insanity.
you just go in a loop. So I
Right.
think like just being very like self-aware of like, hey, maybe I'm missing something here. Maybe I need to, you know, change something.
Yeah.
And then maybe the next week you roll out that approach,
True.
and then you start getting a few offers come in.
Yeah.
But I think you have to be very deliberate and intentional with like what you want to specialize in as well.
True.
Because there's many fields.
True.
You know, in AA, you got ML,
Yeah.
the data. Yeah.
You're talking about that. I talk to hundreds of students in monthly basis. 80% IT students and recent graduate, they say I want to get job in IT. Think about that. What is IT?
Right.
It's not even job role.
Right.
It is whole damn industry, man.
Yeah.
Hundreds of role in there. Please tell me, if you want to go holiday, you don't say I want to go holiday, but where?
Correct.
Not, let's say, Australia, where? New South Wales, where?
Yep.
Sydney, right? You need to have like laser point focused career and then make the way in. I don't know, I mean, at some point that I have said this thousands times. Guys, please come up with specific job roles and make the way in.
Yeah.
What's your take on this?
So I think coming back to the problem solving mindset, I always like to think from first principles and be logical. So if I was applying for a job, I would actually start from back to front.
Reverse engineering.
Correct. So I would work out what field or what role I wanted to actually specialize in, and then I would work backwards on basically how to achieve that. Yeah, you need to be specific in this era.
True.
Like there's only so many hours in a day. You only have so much time and energy. So I think it's good to specialize. IT is general. Like
I know.
even myself, like I'm not even sure what that would mean.
True.
If someone told me that, like, oh, I want to get a job in IT or I want to get a
How are you going to help them? Tell me.
Well, that's the thing. You really can't. I mean, you can give them some general guidance,
Yeah.
but it's only going to go so far. So I think being very, you know, like deliberate and intentional with like what you want to do, but also something that you enjoy is probably my best advice.
I think so. Yeah, that's going to be the good.
Because if you love what you do, it doesn't really feel so much like work,
Yeah.
and you can invest more time
Yeah.
into it.
True. So I want to go more in like a structure over here, what we just discussed.
Sure.
I have a question here saying, if you had to start from zero today, no degree,
Yep.
no money, you don't have your current network, you do have your skills, you have all the skill knowledge of being able to land the job, and also a skill of interviewing many other engineers. If you are put in a new place with your current skills, but you cannot tell you have that, what approach would you take to land your first job? You have 30 days to do.
Great question. So the first thing that I would do
Yeah.
is I would make a profile on every platform, social media platform.
Guys, take the note.
And I would start posting every day about what I'm building, what I'm learning, and
Personal brand.
just my insights. I would have my face attached to it. So maybe like a recording of my webcam as I'm talking or reviewing something like that, because nowadays, if you're out, if you're at home, everyone's kind of on their phones for all the, everyone's on their laptop. So if they can't easily find you online, I think you're really missing out on a big potential market. You just don't know who's watching, right? And we had that conversation before, you know, about the boy who was studying something in robotics for his PhD program.
And then later on, he got opportunity in.
Yeah, and then someone was watching. He was maybe averaging like 10 views per post.
Yeah.
Purely had no idea what was happening, and then they scouted him and say, "Hey, you want to come work for us?" So the opportunity came to him, but just because he was willing to put himself out there.
Yeah. Just
and
want
was
to
not
let you guys know the company name as well.
Yeah, so I believe then it was Gemini,
Gemini.
yeah, for Google, and then now he's working at Anthropic.
Just because that guy share his learning journey, isn't it?
Correct.
And what next? We got to give me a few more.
Yeah,
What
so
would you do?
yeah, so obviously I'll be posting online.
Yeah.
I would be building projects like no tomorrow. Like that's what I would be doing. I would make sure my GitHub is very active, daily commits, like we were speaking about before. You want to see that activity bar kind of stacked, because that's a good reflection of like you actually mean, what you say and that you're about it. So I'll be posting all my projects to GitHub, and then I'd also share them to like various platforms like LinkedIn, because I want people to see what I'm doing. Then from there, I would work out what role I want. I would maybe prompt some of the AI, some of the chatbots. I'll say, hey, I want to become, let's say, an AI developer.
Yeah.
What skills do I need?
True.
And then I would just attack them.
Yeah.
And
I
I
think
would
just find the destination, reverse engineer the path, and start attacking one step at a time, isn't it?
Probably the last thing as well is I would try to connect and network with as many people as possible, far more senior than myself. Because
very, very true, guys. I can't stress enough.
Yeah.
Because I have seen, like, even my student circle, 20 to 30% of them are getting jobs through the referral.
Wow.
So that's really powerful. It could be networking. When it comes to networking, you can go to the events, physical events.
Yeah, so like
Right.
like a good thing on the events is like I was at the NVIDIA one this most recent week at the AI Day. I've been to AWS. I've been to Databricks, Snowflake.
Yeah.
So I attend a lot of these events. I went to Singapore a few months ago for the Super AI conference. They had some great speakers there talking about the AI landscape and what's happening in various industries. And I think going to those events, you can meet so many cool people.
That's true.
That are like literally
you
doing.
never know whom you're meeting, right?
Yeah, if you go up, introduce yourself, have a conversation. They have a lot of booths there of like actual startup companies.
Yeah, and showcase your work there.
Yeah, or just go up to them and start chatting about, maybe what they're building, what they're doing. Make the connection, say, hey, what's your LinkedIn? Let's connect.
Yeah.
Have a good 5-10 minute conversation. And then maybe they're hiring people later on. And because you've already made that person, face-to-face connection, they're a lot more likely to
talk to you.
Because they already have that, that connection.
That's very, very important, guys. Definitely, they say network is net worth. Please start taking that action. It will definitely help you. And the next thing, what's one underrated skills every aspiring developer should master in 2025?
The most underrated skill in this era is not becoming too reliant on the AI tools.
Okay.
I think that's a problem that we're seeing now. Is a lot of people we're entering the era of vibe coding.
Yes.
Where you're basically writing no code anymore.
Yeah.
You're just talking to it in kind of natural language.
Yep.
And there's definitely a place to that. But when you get stuck,
you stop.
What happens, right?
Yeah.
You can only kind of hit a certain wall.
Yeah.
So I think for me, one of the skills is like using the tools when they're needed.
True.
Not just fully relying on them and expecting them to do everything.
That's true.
I think in the future will probably change.
Yeah, but as of now, what we have seen?
Yeah, I think as of now, like the most important skill to have is like problem solving. So knowing when to use the various.
So that means going back again, you need to have a very strong foundation fundamentals.
I believe so.
Yeah, I agree. Guys, just for the context, he started as coder, not the vibe coder, pure hard coder, and then becomes software engineer. Later on, into the AI engineer. So from your like a raw perspective as of now, walk me through AI developer replacing versus creating opportunity, how you are navigating that in.
Yep. So for sure, there's going to be a lot of shift in the market. I think many jobs will become obsolete as a result of AI. The existing ones, I think like a lot of manufacturing jobs.
Yeah.
they're going to be fully replaced by robots.
Yeah.
I was at the NVIDIA conference the most previous week, and they were talking about physical AI is probably the next $1 trillion industry.
Yes, it is.
And that's what they're really focusing on now. So I think it's going to definitely make a lot of people redundant, but at the same time, it's going to create many jobs that don't even exist,
Yet.
till this day.
True.
So I think there is two sides to it. But there's always going to be people. We're always going to need doctors. So I think the medical field's something great. We're going to need lawyers, people in finance. So there's still going to be a lot of jobs for people to do.
Yeah.
Especially in tech as well. We're going to have AI to use for ourselves,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's going to
Replace.
fully replace us. We still need people to do the job.
And developers still need to create more AIs and LLMs.
Exactly. Until AGI arrives,
Yes.
I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. I heard that around 2045 there might be a chance to get AGI.
Okay.
I heard this interview of one of the, I think it's Geoffrey. Do you remember who is that guy in the interview? Godfather of AI, Geoffrey, or somebody. He was saying like there will be a split in 2025. One side is AGI, another side is human, and nobody knows what happens. Is a war or
Yeah.
like a coexistence?
Because he would be a lot more senior, right? But I've seen a lot of the kind of the younger developers, maybe in the early 20s to 30s, saying AGI might be here in the next 2 years. So it's definitely
We don't know. Like
Yeah.
nobody thought that AI gonna be this advanced,
Yeah,
right?
I agree. Because like even if you look 2 years ago,
Yeah, exactly.
like compared to when they first released, like GPT,
Yes. How much? Like every week we have something new in advance.
and even like the video generation, like the Sora 2 that just come out. Like,
Oh my god! Yeah.
obviously, you can still tell that it's AI generated, but
Yeah.
compared to, for example, I'm not sure if you've seen the Will Smith with the spaghetti like video.
No, I haven't. I would like
Like,
to watch it.
That was like one of the pivotal ones. It was like very distorted and
Oh,
kind of
wow,
over the
really?
place, but that was the benchmark. And people were saying, oh, AI is never going to do anything, crazy. And then now we've got like full 30 to 60-second videos from just one prompt.
Yeah.
And you can basically create a whole movie at this
Yeah,
point.
true. That's true.
So yeah, I think like the advancement is just exponential.
True. That's very true. So that means everybody should be leveraging AI at this point, yeah, in their job.
I think everyone should be using it,
Yeah,
but you still want to use the skills you developed
that's true.
earlier on.
That's true. Okay. If you are hiring your own replacement, what would you look for?
Yeah. So I think the number one thing is probably work ethic. I think you have to be a hard worker,
That's true.
and you have to be very, very relentless in what you're doing. So you have something you're trying to achieve, you find a way to do it. In my opinion, the best developers I've seen, they don't really need too much guidance or kind of like hand holding.
True.
If you give them the task,
Mm.
they're going to find a way to do it. Now, they might reach out for help or ask other people to get there, but they're very much like independent and autonomous. So I think you need to have that kind of within you. And it's something you can develop over time. Maybe at the start, you're not too sure. You're kind of testing the waters.
Yeah.
But as you build more projects and work on solving more complex problems, it's something that's going to happen over time.
And that's also a problem solving skill, isn't it?
Correct.
Just finding your way out.
Yeah.
Right. So since Peter, you've been involved in hiring process and you have already talked to many developers and helped company hire. Yeah. A lot of developers, they don't even know the hiring process. If it is okay, can you share your hiring steps? What are the steps involved, and how do you guys take decision? So that basically, I wanted to share the information about the company perspective, so that they can use that information to prepare themselves from, let's say, literally sharpening of the resume until the final negotiation. Can you walk that through? If it's okay, you can share the company structure. If it is supposed to be private, then you can make a story around it.
Sure.
So still providing that information.
Okay. So I just preface saying that like all the interviews that I do
Yeah.
is primarily focused around like AI engineering.
Yes. Yeah, that's completely okay. Let's use that process to explain. So, and yeah, anybody who is currently in the process, so they have better idea.
Okay. So let's kind of start from the from the first step. and that's actually getting the first interview. So before we do that, we obviously need a polished resume. Okay. Now, a common thing now people do is they copy paste the job description,
Mhm.
they copy paste their current resume, and they say, hey, I'm applying for so and so job. Can you please tailor it for me? And then whatever provider you're using will give you something out, and then they just copy and paste that in.
True.
Now, I think it is important if you're applying for many different roles and jobs, there's going to be variance in the descriptions. So you want to actually tailor it and not just send out the same resume to 100 companies. They actually use something called a ATS scanner. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
you've come across this before.
Yeah,
So-
application tracking system.
Yeah, so it'll give you like a percentage score as far as how well aligned your skills are for the job you're applying for.
Mm.
Now, in some companies, if you don't hit a minimum threshold, your resume will automatically get filtered out. So they won't even see it. So let's say the number's like 80% confidence. If it's below that,
And
then,
you missed the opportunity.
but the thing is, the person applying will never even know.
Exactly.
Like, they're going to assume, yeah, right. But, if you have like 500 plus people you have to kind of go through, there's only so many hours, in a day to, kind of assign to that.
Not true.
And people want to spend their time, in a more resourceful way.
That's true.
So, from the 500,
Mm.
they use some kind of like AI ATS scanner.
Yeah.
Give them a score, and then you'll have maybe a final 20 to 30
Yeah.
that you can go through like that. So that's the first thing, is you have to get past that initial,
Through the ATS system.
and usually that's automated.
Yeah.
So there's not going to be any human interventions. There might be human in the loop at the end. Maybe they'll double check. But if you're just applying like everyone else, that's the first step.
Yeah.
Now, once you get past that, then potentially you're in that short list. Then they'll give you the first interview. So, I mean, I probably won't talk too much about the company that I'm at.
Yeah,
but
but you can
in
just take
general,
general based on your own experience,
right?
your friends.
In general, like there's typically multiple rounds.
Yeah.
I think the more established the company, then there may be more rounds, upwards of like 5, 6, 7.
And
So, but for the smaller ones, like startup companies, maybe anywhere from like 2 to 3
right.
interviews. So typically the first one's like more of like a culture / behavioral interview. So like kind of like we're doing now, we'll have a bit of a chat, talk about who you are, what you've been doing, and then if you kind of fit the whole narrative,
Yeah.
as far as what they're doing.
Mm.
If you pass that, then typically it will be technical. So technical typically for us is around 1 to 2 rounds,
Mm.
and then we'll basically ask them questions related to their resume. So let's say they've worked on a certain project. I might ask them about like some of the tech stack, why they selected that, what problem they were trying to solve and achieve. And I'm typically watching for how they're talking. Some candidates,
Problem solving mindset.
right. So like I'll ask out of the box questions that you can't really prepare for,
That's right.
just to see kind of how they handle that and recover. We had some candidates where if it's online over Teams or Zoom, they'll have a little window open next to them. Very clear that they're reading off something, right? So if I ask them like, for example, like,
Ready-made answer.
yeah, if I'm asking them like a question, maybe like explain why you used a certain LLM for this agent.
Yeah.
Or why did you use this framework? If they can't really start answering the question straight away, there's like a 20-second pause.
Yeah.
I see their eyes like kind of, scrolling.
Yeah.
Then I know that they're probably reading off something. So I think like one thing that I look for as well is just having like a natural conversation with someone that should just flow
True.
very normally. So usually 1 to 2 technical rounds.
Yeah.
Now the AI engineering is quite different to software engineering,
Right.
because we're not expected for them to have like a shared whiteboard and actually write code.
Okay.
It's more so I want to see how they solve problems using AI.
Right.
So it's not really about memorization.
Mm-hmm.
It's more so about,
Thought process.
yeah, exactly right. So I want to see how they're gonna basically approach something with the latest AI tools, and I'll kind of see if that's something that I would do myself.
Right.
If the two are on par,
Mm.
then typically I know they're on the ball and quite switched on.
Okay.
So typically 1 to 2 technical rounds. Bigger companies, there may be more, and they might break it up into different sections as well. I know some companies have like take-home assessments.
Yes.
So they'll give you
Especially in software, I guess a lot.
very common. So they'll
Yeah.
give you something take home, and then you go off and solve it, and then submit. And then if it's all good, they'll maybe question you on it.
Yeah, more
Ask
deep
you-
down, like with a cross
Yeah.
section, and then
Yeah.
why you use it, what do you use it.
Yeah. But like one thing I'm seeing as well is like when you apply, kind of at this point, everyone has university on there. Like everyone has education, everyone has a degree.
True.
So, you need to find a way to separate yourself from everyone else. So having those projects on there, if I see something that's interesting, I'm a lot more likely to talk about it and just see what they're about, man,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because nowadays, writing code, anything can do it.
True.
But do you really have a project building skill, problem solving skill, right?
Yeah,
That's what probably you want to look for.
exactly right.
So, guys, I hope you're noting that down. First, make sure you have polished resume that goes through ATS. Google up what is ATS if you don't know, or if you want to skip that process, go through the networking. Get somebody referred to the company. So skip that part. And then probably if it is small company, developer, CTOs or CEO will reach out to you for the quick scanning call. If it is large company, probably HR, non-technical person will call you to do basic fit, like he mentioned before. And then now you go to the technical test. There's a different variety of the technical test, from online assessment to take-home project to like the live deep down in technical test.
In person is typically the best.
Yes,
But I
you can
know,
build a connection and then
yeah, you see them, like live in the flesh, so to speak.
yeah, it creates a different dynamic.
100%.
Mm.
But it's hard to kind of orchestrate that, especially when, like, let's say you have 30 people you got to interview,
Yeah,
having to have them come in, commute.
it's a lot of resources for a company as well.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. So it's not usually feasible. Typically, like maybe the last round might be in person,
Yeah,
which is very common. That's when they might give you the offer, or you'll meet with maybe some of the directors or higher ups, and then they make the final decision based on the previous rounds. But it's very much like a battle of attrition. You have to pace yourself,
yeah, true.
and definitely not get discouraged. I've heard of people doing like 5 or 6 rounds, and then they don't make it to the last one. And
Well,
typically,
what do you find common reason what they're not making the last round? That's here. When you say last round after the technical test, I think that's what we are talking about now, right?
yeah, exactly.
So especially more decision maker going to talk to you, take the interviews. Can you talk more about that so they have better understanding how they should prepare about?
If you have maybe 1 or 2 positions available, but you have 5 great candidates, it very much comes down to, it could be, subjective, like who you like more.
Yeah, the vibe.
Yeah, I mean, like it is very common because end of the day, end of the day, like you're working with someone,
True.
like, for extended periods of time. So if you get on with them better, or you see them more as like working well with the team that you're in, that may be, like a deal breaker for other people. You may have someone who's very, very technically proficient, amazing what they do, but maybe they just won't get on with the other employees at the company.
Very important.
So that's something as well that happens. But typically everyone that makes it past that round knows what they're doing. You won't really make it past the technical, towards the last stages if you're not good.
Yeah.
So it does come down to that kind of process,
Okay.
which is like human nature. Not sure if that's the best way to do things.
So I think that how do you think that will be built? It's just talking to more people, trying to understand, to read the people, right? And try to understand how to align the synergy between conversation. I think some sort of that. I think that comes down to our practice, talking to people and see, maybe learn some sales skills, persuasive.
Yeah, I mean, like social skills are important, right?
Yeah.
Because you can be really good at what you do, but if you don't know how to communicate,
If I can't tell you what I can do or how I can work with you, how are you gonna say okay, right? That's definitely not good. Yeah. Guys, you see, just take that 4 or 5 step you just mentioned and work on one step at a time. So I have pretty much, this is my made up the rule, let's not say rule, the suggestion how everybody should prepare. Unless you get first call, you're not gonna go to the second round of the interview. So you spend 70% of your time to get the first call.
Correct.
And then prepare for the next round, another 30%. And then second round and third round. So do the same way so that you laser focus on one part first. So you get to really nail down that part and then get ready for the next one. That's kind of approach I suggest my students. What do you have take on this? How
Yeah.
should you prepare yourself on the interview stages?
Yeah, so I think treat it like a game, almost like different rounds,
Level of
different levels, right? Different chapters.
yeah,
And I think the more you do, the better you get at them, right? So
that's true.
if you do, you know, like several interviews,
Yeah,
technical interviews at like different companies, you start to see like what's similar, what's common
find the
questions,
pattern.
themes,
Yeah.
exactly. So that will help you better prepare. So I think treat it like a fun way. Like don't be so hard on yourself.
Yep.
Kind of just show up, rock up, prepare adequately. So like there's a lot of online resources now. I know, you know, especially online, you can watch mock interviews at
Yep.
like, you know, big companies.
Even like big company, I see they have like a hiring process written.
Yeah,
Huh?
100%. And they have other companies where you can like do practice questions for a specific role that you're going for. So if you just do all those, have some cool projects you've been working on,
Mm.
you're passionate about what you're doing, you can talk, like present yourself in like a high standard, you know, like well dressed, all that kind of hygiene and, you know, firm handshakes and all that.
Yeah.
That I think will definitely get you over the line. But yeah, just kind of prepare and then off you go.
Yeah. I heard this or I read somewhere, I can't remember, but they say in first 30 seconds of the meeting, they will decide whether they will hire you or not.
I can attest to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, after first meeting someone
Yeah.
with opening remarks,
Yeah.
you have a pretty good idea like
Where's gonna go, right?
which side they sit on.
Wow. That's so guys, remember your 30-second is the trajectory of your success.
But one good thing to mention is like we have a due diligence where let's say we do meet someone first,
Yeah.
and I already know that I'm probably not going to go ahead with it. I will still give them the entirety
To see
of the interview so they can actually take something away from it
Yeah.
and learn. So we'll still work through the problem while I still ask them questions because I think it's a very good learning experience for them.
True.
But you know, I might
But this
already
kind of already decides somewhere in the subsequent, like,
yeah, or maybe like you know, like typically how we do it is we have like a whole morning or afternoon blocked off interviews.
Oh.
So I'll have like 4 to 5 back to back,
okay.
and then you just might know straight away that the person before might sit a bit higher than the
Right.
current one you're interviewing, right? So it's very much like that.
Okay, now let's flip this.
Okay.
So that's the hiring perspective. Now, as a let's say student perspective, what can you suggest?
Yeah, so the first thing is you need to make sure that you give a good first impression. Okay, talk very very articulate, clean, you know, to the point. What they're wearing is very important. Like be well dressed, and then I think the big thing as well is like eye contact, and then get straight into it. Be passionate, be happy, be smiling.
Yeah.
Because that sets the tone. If I join a Zoom's meeting and the person maybe has a bit of a frown or they're looking down or they're just like not really fully prepared, unfortunately, you do have a preconceived judgment of someone.
Of course, that's a human nature.
It is human nature, for sure. So I think just ticking all those boxes first. One thing that I will say is usually at the end of interview, they always say, do you have any questions for us? Any questions for the company?
Yep.
I think if you don't ask questions, that's going to hurt you.
That's true.
So whenever you're applying for a place, do the thorough research, what they're doing, what they're trying to achieve, what their mission is, and then come up with some interesting questions that maybe other candidates haven't asked them.
That's true.
Because
Do you have any framework around that? How they should come up with the question? I mean, because it's for the junior people, it's really hard. I say, go look at the company mission, vision, and value. They don't even know what is mission, vision for the company.
Yeah.
Why even value matter? Actually, you can use just the GPT or something. Say,
you can,
just to give some sort of.
it will
idea.
give you like generic questions like, what does my day-to-day look like?
Yeah.
What will I be working on? But it's like going back to before, it's not about like want and take. You want to see like, hey, based on what you're trying to achieve, how can I help you
Yeah.
get there? Like, how do my skills align with the company
True.
to help you further progress, towards your end goal. How can I add value? I think
That's true.
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when they're hiring you for a reason, and it's typically to problem solve and
That's true.
perform
At
hard
the
tasks.
end, we are going there to help company solve their problem so that company makes money and they can pay us, isn't it?
100%.
So what have you seen the especially fresh grad or IT students, they looking for the job or they are coming for the interview, they prioritize something too much that is really not important. It's like spending more time on wrong thing instead of focusing on right thing. Have you seen anything short or any pattern?
Yeah, I think just having the idea that the university education is enough and putting your capstone project that you worked on in your last year as one of your model
Okay.
showcases, that's something for sure. I feel like they're better now, but they need to kind of teach you how to present yourself and put your work forward to be seen in the best light. So just relying too much on that. You need to have interest outside, I think, of university. Most of my learning was done, independently.
True.
And like I will attest to that, like just different hobby projects and things that I worked on myself. That's what really kind of separated me from everyone else.
True.
But it's just kind of like a checkpoint, like you have a list of things that you look for, like criteria, tick off the list. Like, yeah, okay, he's done the masters. That's great. Shows that he's committed and that he can follow through with something. But yeah, you just want to be different.
That's true, guys. Don't stuck with that 1 year or 2 years old capstone project. What have you done since then?
Yeah, like it's kind of viewed as like not lazy, but like just minimal effort.
Yeah, or maybe they don't know what it is on that.
Yes, yeah, like
Because
it's
university
guidance sometimes.
costs that.
Yeah,
That.
no one's told you that. Like
Mm.
like unless you go out yourself seeking it,
Yes, true.
or you
Or you have
have
some mentor.
yeah, like or like yourself, for example, like with the boot camp, like you will equip them with this information,
True.
and that's going to help them 100% go over the line.
That's a very, very valuable information. Please take that seriously as well. Now, any cool LinkedIn or resume hacks that work for you or have seen work for others?
Yeah, I think the best thing is if you go to any events, do a post, do a picture of you at the event, maybe meeting someone, getting a photo, um, documenting your experience, what you learnt.
Yeah.
Those posts tend to do really well. Say, hey, I attended the, Google Cloud Platform
Yes.
event here at the ICC.
Yeah.
They're talking about AI agents, et cetera, et cetera. Just do a happy post like that.
That's true. And just tag some people.
Yeah, tag the company. If you meet anyone that you follow online, definitely do that. And then if anyone comments or likes, respond to it. Keep the engagement up in the algorithm.
Yeah.
So I think just putting yourself out there, especially in the digital era, is like super important.
Yeah, that's true.
So like that's one thing that I would say to do.
I have a framework that I created. I come down to this EOC framework.
Okay.
Basically, E means experience. You need to gain experience. You gain the experience through the project, coming through the knowledge.
Right.
You need to have that. Unless you have a skills, knowledge, and experience, you are not in the market yet. So that is the key to the job market.
And you'll see as well on the resumes, you have a skills section, right?
Exactly.
Of like different tools, libraries, and languages you've used. I think they should be best represented in what you've actually built.
Exactly.
Actual projects.
True.
And I think a good thing too, for the viewers, is if you have like a link to the GitHub of what you built, or even like a live
project.
Yeah, like a video or like a website where I can go interact with it.
Yeah.
To me, that's like really like it shows you just going above and beyond, and you're very proud of your work.
That's true. And
want
to prove that you have done something.
Yeah, 100%. Like if I can go interact with something you made, I feel a lot more like
comfortable. Yeah, true.
Yeah, right. Whereas like if you have like a project you did at a capstone, but sorry, I can't link it because it's a private repository.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, like that's fine.
I don't know then, right? It's like telling me I have a golden elephant statue at home.
Exactly. So yeah, you want to just make sure that it's all visible there for them to see.
Yeah. So that's one part of the framework.
That's E.
Yeah, that's E for experience.
Okay.
Not the skills, not the certification. I want experience building the project. Yep. And then second thing is, once you have the skills, then you need to find a way to get the offer. You need to actually receive the offer. Then only you're gonna get the job, right?
Right.
Then work on how to get offer. Is that networking or becoming proficient on making your resume sharp so that you stand out, or building the digital branding so that you get job offer? Go through the multiple steps. Unless and until you have job offer, somebody coming and saying, "Hey, I have offer," you never have a job.
Correct.
That's another thing really, really nobody talks about. And people, any students, they put very little effort on that.
Yeah.
That's the offer. You need to know how to get the offer.
Okay. So
So now,
PO.
yeah. Now C is that your communication. Just learning to speak is different thing, but actually passing the interview is entire different game. So you need to build how to pass interview each stage. So you have a different framework on each stage.
Do you have any resources for that?
Yes, we provide the resources and training as well. We do one-on-one training to our students.
Right.
Now, you need to learn how to crack each stage of the interview. That's all about your communication, verbal communication, tonality, body language, like you said, dress, every little thing 1% adds, right?
Yeah.
So then that's a communication. You need to master all these three. That's what the job is.
Yeah. I mean, that's everything all encompassed in one.
Yeah. And because what I have seen is most of the junior devs, they only focus on the skills certification, not even getting the experience through the project or collaborating with other same like-minded people to build the real project. Forget about the getting the job offer part. They just want to go, like you said, make the profile and auto apply.
There you go.
You know,
Yeah.
and they even rarely practice interview. So that's why they're struggling in that, you know. That's the framework basically I like to share and I've been sharing. And then that has been worked very well.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Coming back to the question again, what one mistake you made earlier that you should have avoided? For me, like for example, not asking. Like remember I won yes?
Yeah. Right.
That I still have pain in my brain. How did that 2.5 week went?
Yeah.
For example, that's one of many mistakes, right?
Yep.
And thinking getting mentor is too expensive, but not understanding the time and potential opportunity missed.
For sure.
Those are my mistakes that I suggest everybody to avoid. Do you have anything
Yeah.
in your career?
So I also resonate with that as well.
Okay.
Just having that I can do it myself.
Everything,
You
yeah.
know, I'll figure it out. But then when you do get stuck, you may waste a lot of time.
Yeah.
So knowing when to reach out. I think for me the biggest one would be the people aspect. So actual like networking, having a really good group of people that are competent. That's for me number one. When I was starting out, I was very much like a lone wolf.
Yeah.
So I would try to do everything myself.
Yeah, that's actually a
and not
good
interact.
character, but we need to find the balance, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And then, as you were saying before, like once you do get the offer and you start working at a business or a company, you're with other people. So you're not by yourself typically anymore. So I think it's good to develop those skills early on.
Mm,
But I would say just network, talk to more people, reach out, be more open to that because they can fast track your progress so much.
that's true.
Even in my current role, they're being mentored by one of the ex-Atlassian
Oh,
senior engineers, and,
cool.
and he's got like almost 30 years plus
So,
experience. So being able to like sit next to him, do some pair programming, ask him questions back and forth, it just puts into perspective like how much they've done over time. And I pick up valuable gems and tidbits, from him. The old me probably would have not wanted to speak to him because I might have felt like I'm not at that level,
true.
or I'm like annoying him, I'm like disturbing him.
Or some people also have that ego.
Yeah, the ego too, you're
Mm.
like you're trying to, compete with him. Oh, I think I'm better than him, even though he's got 20 plus years on me.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I think just being like just outgoing and just talk to more people
That's
in
true.
the industry. That's really important. And like we were saying before, you don't know who you meet.
That's true. Very important. And we talk about this off the camera before. The more senior people tend to help junior more, but junior are more scared to talk to senior more.
I agree with that. I think
Yeah.
like we gave the analogy, you know, when you rock up to,
Yeah.
you know, the weight room and you have the biggest guy there,
Yeah.
he's probably more, you know, inclined to help you and offer advice because he knows what it's like when you're first starting out, because he was once there before.
Yeah.
Whereas the other people may be a lot more self-conscious or, you know, judging others. Whereas
Yeah.
for those people, there's nothing really to.
They are like already legend in their field and they just wanna share and then help you, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that applies to the tech industry as well.
That's true. That's true. That's really valuable information, guys. Networking already brings so much opportunity, and on the top of that, having good mentor. You don't really necessarily go find the paid mentor. You can definitely find the mentor in your workplace, like for you, right? He's decades of experience now. You got in days, right?
Yeah,
So in the community, like for example, we talked about the live stream platform before, right? So, but you need to go put out yourself first,
exactly.
right? Maybe provide the value first, then you feel comfortable. I think the another thing is that if you never provide value to other people or put uh, yourself there to help other, you will not be able to ask help from others.
Yeah, I agree.
And I have seen that too. That's why I push everyone, go try to share what you learn. I even say that my students, do you have a partner? Yes. Is he from completely different or he from completely different field? Yes. Go try to explain how to write the code. Just be aware you don't get beaten up by her or him,
Right.
but just find the balance, but still go do that. That will give you that mindset. Okay,
Yeah.
how to explain other, teach others, so that not only you are like when you teach somebody else, you get to learn twice, but you build that habit. Okay, teaching is good, so asking as well,
Yeah.
right? And it will probably put you in the state to find the people to get connected with like-minded people.
And you know, it goes both ways.
Yeah.
For sure. And touching on that as well, I think teaching a concept or something you've learned
Mm.
is actually a very good way to remember it.
Yeah, that's very true. I have learned a lot that because
You probably know that firsthand.
yeah, first and yeah. So
Yeah.
100% agree with that. This is something we talk off the camera. If you don't want to share that completely, okay, but I still want to ask, what's been your proudest moment since becoming a developer?
I think being able
Mhm.
to be compensated for what I enjoy doing
Okay,
still
that's a
feels like a
beautiful.
dream, you know,
Yeah.
like, you know, actually being able to work on, you know, meaningful, and impactful problems in the current day
Yeah.
and then actually seeing the end result. So a lot of the AI consulting work that we do,
Mm.
you know, being able to solve problems for them and see how much maybe time or resources it saves
Mm.
gives me a lot of fulfillment.
That's true.
So
It's a real impact.
yeah, that's the thing, you know, like before it was like a more selfish pursuit, like I was just doing it for myself, but being able to kind of contribute back, feel like I'm actually doing something positive, that to me is, you know, really important. And I get to do it in a fun way with the programming and the coding.
That's great. I just wanted to touch in that because some people think coding is just boring and nerdy job only, and it is not only that. That's just a personal trait, but what comes out is real impact.
100%. 100%. And good thing to touch on as well is for a lot of the work that we do,
Mhm.
we use the cloud providers. So Microsoft Azure, AWS, they have a lot of systems in place that are already pre-built. So as long as you understand how to navigate around there, you can start implementing solutions, custom solutions for companies yourself. And that's probably very valuable for the new grads.
True.
If they can become familiar with those, you know,
Cloud platforms
cloud platforms,
and tools.
there's a lot of jobs, you know, coming out. We need someone who's certified in, for example, Azure.
Yeah,
You know, can you help us build solutions only on that platform?
yeah, true.
You know, they provide great resources and, you know, data privacy, everything like that to get over the line. So I would actually recommend them to do some certifications.
Yeah, especially on cloud.
Yeah, like, you know, if you have on your resume, for example, like AWS certified in, you know, the specific field you're doing, I think that's a standout point
Yeah, definitely put you one step ahead.
because, you know, if they do offer you a, you know, a full-time role,
Mm,
whatever, they know that they can actually trust you and everything's compliant.
that's true. Okay, a little bit more about yourself. It's just reflecting the life of the developer kind of thing. What would your younger self be shocked to know about you now?
Probably how I look, I think.
Okay.
So maybe we can do a little like before and after photo, but
Okay.
you know, typically before I was like the stereotype, like very slim, glasses, buzz cut, you know, like
Like typical
yeah,
nerdy schoolboy.
yeah, schoolboy, you know, who just loves his you know, computer and PlayStation.
Well,
And then, you know, more recently, you know, I I thought let's apply the same kind of logic to the real world. So
oh, wow.
kind
Okay.
of gamified everything.
Okay, that's interesting. I think we already touched on this. Still, this is the part of inspiring other aspiring developer.
Mm.
Um, how has this career changed your life financially, mentally, personally?
Great question. So we can probably hit through all three of those. So I think anyone knows in tech, like as far as financially, you know, I think you're definitely compensated well for
Yeah,
your skill set.
true.
You know, especially living, you know, in Australia or like, you know, other countries around the world. You know, like the salaries I think is very good. Obviously, there's a range based on experience. If you're more junior or, you know, kind of entry level, it'll be lower. And then as you work up the ranks, then you can live a very, you know, comfortable and, you know,
Good.
yeah, like good life,
Yeah,
so to speak. I think the working hours too are very fair and comparable. So you'll have some work-life balance.
true.
You can kind of do your work during the day and then have time for your, you know, family and social outings afterwards.
True.
So I think that's the great thing. Yeah, so I think mental, you're challenged every day, you know, to extreme levels. And I think that's where the fulfillment comes from.
That's true.
So, you know, every day I come into the office, there's always something new that we're trying to solve or something we're trying to implement. So, you know, you feel like you're actually doing something, you know, meaningful. And coming from that competitive background from a young kid, it's kind of like, okay, how can we do this today, like in the most efficient way, you know, in a timely manner. So, I definitely feel very like mentally stimulated, um, doing a certain role, and I think other people as well
Yeah.
would also feel that. Like, there's never really like a dull or boring moment
Yeah.
because you're always trying to do something. You're not just kind of maybe sitting there idle or, you know, doing something.
A repetitive, same task, boring task.
Yeah, right. And, you know, and there's like there's many fields as well and, many different applications to build. So
Mm.
you're always doing like fun stuff, you know?
If you don't like the challenge, this is probably not good for you.
Right. And then, you know, if you don't like, you can always have a look at other opportunities as well in
Yeah.
kind of the same field. You know, like I know some people maybe won't find building, you know, RAG chatbots that interesting.
Yeah.
So if you want to work on something different, then, you know, there's definitely a, you know, like a domain and a market there for you to pursue. And then as far as personal, I think for me it works quite well because I would say I'm definitely more on the introverted side. So being able to just being like left alone on the laptop, coding away, you know, doing some PRs and all that.
Hmm.
For me, that's like perfect alignment with like my personality type.
Yeah.
You know, I still love talking to people. It's like really enjoyable, but just being more like behind the scenes role, I think it fits me perfectly.
That's great. That's
So
great.
yeah,
Yeah. Guys, if you are that kind of personality, because I am that kind of personality as well,
yeah,
I'm more in the market trying to show like I'm extrovert is for the business purpose. That's the whole entire game. One day, if you guys get into the startups, you'll understand that. Otherwise, if you have that kind of personality, this role or getting into the tech in AI will be fulfilling for you. So if you are worried that whether you're going to love it or not, here is the proof. That's why I wanted to bring that topic out. Okay, what is the best career advice you have ever received?
best career advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I might start with the worst. Yeah, and then we can kind of reverse engineer.
Let's do that.
So I think the worst advice is like just follow your passion because it's very broad.
Yeah.
You know, like for example, I might like I don't know, opening Pokemon cards,
Yeah.
right? And as far as the advice for career trajectory,
Mm,
probably not the wisest thing.
true.
One thing people probably don't know about me is after I finished high school, I actually tried exercise physiology and biomed
Really?
for around 6 months
How did that go?
in Queensland. So I was there for about 2 semesters, and my parents come from medical backgrounds,
All right.
so it was kind of like the most natural
way that you follow the paradigm.
Yeah, to follow the footsteps. So I gave that a fair crack for 6 months, and to be honest, I didn't really like it.
So basically, you did a job so that parent don't complain in the future.
Right, just to kind of make them happy and, go into the same field and hopefully one day take over,
Yeah.
after their time. So I tried for 6 months, and to be honest, it wasn't really me. I didn't really like it. But looking back, it was really good that I did actually commit those, that half year. I don't really see it as wasted time. I see it as like when you're young, you got to try things
That's true.
because like you just don't know what's gonna stick and what you like. So I think like probably my best advice is to try a lot of things. And then when you find something that kind of clicks or you can see yourself sticking it out for the longer term, I think go all in
That's true.
and kind of try really hard, because I'm very big on the belief is that if you put all your efforts into something, it's like almost impossible to fail.
Yes, that's true. That's
It's-
true.
So that's probably my best advice for them is try things when you're young.
Yeah.
Don't see it as a waste.
Yeah.
See it as more like of a learning experience.
True.
If you don't like something, pivot.
That's true.
Try
Nothing to
something.
lose at this years.
Yeah, nothing to lose. And like, back then I kind of felt behind because I was maybe like 1 year behind everyone else because they had gone straight into uni and were already on their pathway. If let's say they were doing like commerce law or they were doing something in like economics, they had already been a year ahead of me. But if we look at it now, seems to have, balanced out
A lot gap you can see.
and caught up. But at least I know now, like when I go to sleep at night, like that avenue wasn't for me.
I remember like back in days when we're practicing martial art. Let's say guru, we call it guru. Basically master. They used to say like try to do most boring thing your brain had to do every now and then, so that time your brain try to find so much interesting thing. That's where you probably gonna unlock what you're really gonna love. Like probably while you're doing that medical field, your brain speed was like 1,000 km/h running, trying to figure out what you want to do instead.
100%. I remember sitting in class, we were doing some biochemistry,
But your brain,
and we're in the lab, and I'm like, yeah, just like counting down the minutes till it's finished, and supervisor comes over, he's like, you've done it all wrong. And I just knew kind of then that it's like, okay,
yeah,
I need to think what's next for me
yeah.
after that. And then that's where I went back to my roots and then decided to pursue CS and eventually ML.
That's great advice, guys. If you are in your career trajectory somewhere, you are feeling the same way, burnout, struggling, or you're not sure whether you're gonna do that or not for a long time. Hey, fail it fast, try something else, and you will figure it out. But just fair amount of time to try and test. Sometime, uh, you're gonna lose more by quitting too early.
True.
But going through some pain will build your muscle.
I agree. I think hardship builds character.
I think we are almost to the end out of the question here, and I think we can go this discussion whole day, especially when we are both in tech industry, and we haven't even touched the technology and tech talk. And I wanted to keep this session especially non-tech because I wanted to help more aspiring developers just getting the foot into the industry, and then later on they can find you to learn more about the tech part. Is there anything that you wanted to cover that we didn't cover?
I think for the non-technical side of things,
Mm.
we kind of touched on everything. Obviously, like we can talk all day. There's so much to get into, so many interesting topics. But yeah, I think this has been a really great, first podcast and experience. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Peter, so much for your valuable information. If people want to reach out to you, where they can find you?
Sure. So, I'm on LinkedIn. So just my name, Peter Prakides. And then I'm also on Instagram as well, where I kind of post some of my fitness stuff. And that's kind of the other side of me when I'm not coding away in the dark. So yeah.
So I will provide the link in the description somewhere or the hover on the name. So for anything about AI related content, or if you need to ask any maybe suggestion or career advice. I hope you'll have some time to respond. Reach out to him on LinkedIn, get connected with him, and then definitely physical activity will help. Go and see how he built his muscles in Instagram. So I'll put the link for you as well. Okay, that's great, great. I really enjoyed the show, Peter. Usually at the end, I ask my guest if they have any question for me.
Okay.
Do you have any question for me?
So yeah, so my question for you is, like you asked me before, if you could go back in time,
Mm.
same skill set, same knowledge, but everything wiped clean, and we're in the AI era now, 2025, how would you start off your career journey?
I'll do one thing. I'll find who is doing that thing that I want to become, or the developer, engineer, or mentor who is 1 to 2 years ahead on that industry. I'll do whatever resources I have, invest on that guy to ask me to handhold me and put me in the industry.
Amazing. I mean, modeling is a very, tried and tested technique.
That's true.
If you want to get somewhere, find someone that's already done it and they're actually doing the thing. And then whether, you pay for mentorship or you kind of shadow them.
Yeah, that's the
That's-
fastest way, because now when I realize, because I audit my day, I audit my week, audit my year, I audit my decades,
Mm.
I audit my life. And when I realized that as a mentor, yeah, if I had a mentor in the past, I could have achieved what I have achieved now in half of the time.
Wow.
That is 5 to 6 years of my life. That is hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And obviously time is a commodity you can't buy back.
What about the sleepless night, foodless day? Think about all those things. That's where I learned the power of mentor.
Amazing.
That's one thing I'll start with, and then I'll do whatever mentor says. I'll do 10,000%. I go all in to make sure I get to the place where I want to go.
And then a
Where I
follow
wanna
up to that, how would you, I guess, reach out once you found that person?
My goal will be basically LinkedIn. I will definitely leverage the LinkedIn to reach out. But I do have this another way of reaching out people is who is in that connection. Let's say if he's higher up here, who is into the lower level that I can reach out to that person, or who is connected to this person that is close to my network, and who is that another person who is close to that person. So I'll try to find how I can connect to that by, again, networking
Amazing.
and reach out people, talk to people, and try to provide value to the people first,
Yeah.
and then get their attention, and then say, hey, then can I get a favor?
And then they know who you are,
Yeah.
they know your face, everything about you, and then they'll send you on your way.
Do so much so that they feel it's stupid to say no.
Brilliant advice.
Thank you, Peter, so much. I really enjoyed. Thank you. Enjoy the talk with you. That was amazing talk with Peter today. I hope you found really, really valuable information, guys. Go home and then actually start applying some of the things you have learned from Peter today. If you spend time watching this and you did not apply anything, that means you are not learning anything. So you need to find the way to apply what you have learned, change 1% behavior so that you'll get into your career faster and with less stress. And one more thing, guys, tell me what are the 3 important things you learned today. Write in the comment section, and I'd like to read that out. And if you have any question that you want me to cover and ask my future guest, please write in the comment, and I will ask my future guest. Until then, I'll see you next. Thank you.